I'm recording and then I feel like an old lady struggling with technology. It's like, you know. Okay. Okay. So today we talk about Full Cities Week 2025, which was held in 20 from 26th of May till the 1st of July. Um, we organize this Full Cities Week every year since 2021, and this year we did it in Chiang Mai. And yeah, this recording is to just like to share what we have done. Some of the participants are also here as well. Hopefully we can also get some comments from them. And yeah, let's just quickly go through what we have done. So we are Full Cities. It was founded in 2019 by Yukiko and me. We are Urban Experience Design Studio. It was founded in Amsterdam, but we are usually based in Tokyo and Kyoto. So Urban Experience Design Studio, it sounds unusual, but we love doing all things urban. We love bottom up intervention for cities. We also do love doing research about cities. We also love organizing, educational programs, workshops about cities and architecture and the culture in cities. And yeah, we've been doing all kinds of things, including Full Cities Week, which is our annual exhibition or like a camp style research. It's hard to explain, but yeah, we do it out of passion. And we have been doing it in full cities in the past, five cities actually since 2021. It's like an urban festival bringing together urbanists from across the globe to think about the future of cities together. So for the first year, we did small exhibitions in Tokyo and Kyoto. And a year after, we went to Cairo, Egypt, so far away from Japan, but somehow, yeah, we ended up going there. We spent 1 month there together with the team, with the local collaborator. And yeah, we spent like 3 weeks researching in the neighborhood that we were working with, and then did 1 week of exhibition as the output. And 2 years ago, we went to Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. And that year, we started inviting participants to come with us to organize Full Cities Week together with us too. Not only showcasing, but also like, participating in the process too. So yeah, we also spent 1 year, not 1 year, 1 month together with about 15 urbanists across the world. Um, it was like an intense series of like workshops and site visits, walking around the cities, interviews, and a lot of discussions. And on the final week, we organized a exhibition together. And this year we did it in Chiang Mai, which we're gonna talk today. And yeah, it says 4 cities, but it's including Chiang Mai, it's 5 cities in total. And we've been meeting all kinds of amazing urbanists from around the world. We are just so blessed to have that opportunity to connect with them. And yeah, it's all about discovering the local perspective and local urban culture in every city. And we love to continue from like, next year as well, and focusing on cities that haven't been studied well. And we love to collaborate with the local, architects and urban designers and artists and emerging, actors, practitioners as well, who are active in the local context to discover and unpack the term and the, uniqueness of the city. So if Yukiko can talk about like why we chose Chiang Mai this year and what we did.
Yeah, so this year's destination, we choose Chiang Mai as a field of our Force this week. So every year we try to pick some topic, and since a few years ago we kind of focus on more than human things. For example, like our city is mainly focused on human being, but to think about future city, we think we have to think about including other living things. That's why we kind of decided to go Chiang Mai. So Chiang Mai is the second largest city, and as you can see this map, the center of city is surrounded by Thin River, east side and west side, and mountain. So their daily life kind of affect their nature, and also we realize in Chiang Mai there are a lot of local wisdom to live with nature in the city. So we decided to go Chiang Mai as a part of field of this year. And this year as well, we did open call for our festival, and 13 participants came in Chiang Mai, around maybe in Japan, China, Philippines, Hong Kong, Pakistan, and Vietnam, mainly Asian country, young emerging urbanists joined our project. And we did 5 days field research, including workshop and also discussion, and 2 days exhibition. So total around 1 week we did a project. And also every time we try to find a wonderful local collaborator, and this time we found Calm Village, where is our center of art and craft, culture center run organized by uh, family, and they kind of show up Chiang Mai's modern culture and also traditional culture as well. So this picture was our exhibition venue.
Awesome, thank you. And this is the schedule calendar for the week. As you can see, it was packed with activities. We were exhausted every day, but yeah, a lot of like site visits, workshops, and every day we had discussions as well. Yeah, like, after all the activities and, we, just share what we have learned from that day and answer specific questions. And we also, like, towards Friday, we had like individual work time and also preparation for the exhibition, the instruments, set up for the exhibitions. And during the weekends, it was the exhibition day, inviting the locals. And we also organized talk events and also like workshops, things like that, reception party kind of thing. So yeah, just like looking at the schedule, it makes me feel dizzy, but it was really fun. Yeah. So this is the main structure of the week. And yeah, maybe from here, Alina, you can take over and share some of the pictures that we have done.
Yeah, so hello, I'm Alina. I'm part of Four Cities. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about what we've done, showing you pictures as we go along. So this, what you see now is the platform that we use to organize the whole program. It's called Padlet, and it's usually used for like educational purposes. And so yeah, we had all our information here. So like general information about the schedule, about the collaborators and the theme. So this year's theme was tropical urbanisms. So yeah, it's a big theme, but tropical. We wanted to, because Chiang Mai is a tropical climate, but this term tropical holds a lot of colonial like meaning and imaginations behind it. So we wanted to unpack this kind of kind of, yeah, colonial and Western centric view of like labeling places in the tropic beyond its, yeah, kind of legacy. And also it's usually talked a lot about in architecture, but we wanted to look at this at an urban scale. So that's why we framed it as tropical with quotations and urbanism with an S plural. So not as just one kind of idea of the city, but more of a pluralistic understanding of like how can we like really look into this concept that's kind of well established in a way, but to look at it in a more pluralistic and deeper way. So that was kind of this whole theme that we had throughout the programs. And yes, I'll talk a little bit about the program itself later on as well. But yeah, so this was the theme for this year. And then, yeah, in this part, we also had some resources that we shared with the participants, and also like a reading list where we picked up some like papers and literature behind Chiang Mai and also about the theme itself. So this is where we, yeah, saw all the information. And yeah, I'll go into the schedule of each day. So for day one, as you saw in the calendar that Mariko-san just showed, it was really packed. So from the first day, we had a lot going on. So we had like an introduction or like an induction session where we all came together, introduced each other, talked about the program itself. And then straight after that, we went to our first site visit to Jaiban Studio. So they are a landscape architecture / architecture studio based in Chiang Mai. And you can see their studio on the left. It's a really cool place. And yeah, they talked about their practice and their approach in the work. So they work a lot in landscape architecture, but like really through reading the landscape itself. So reading the landscape of Chiang Mai, going back to the historical and also the spiritual meaning and connection that people had with the land. So that was really interesting to see. And also we did a visit to the Spring River, which runs on the east of the city. And yeah, so we saw that and how yeah, people relate to the river or like the relationship with the river and the people are changing. So yeah, we had a lot of yeah, talks about this from the studio. Thank you. And for the second day, we also had a workshop by Jaiban Studio. And so yeah, we explored the area, the mountainside. You can see on the map it's a bit small, but on the left side there's mountains. So we went to this area where the city, the original like settlement of Chiang Mai was started. So we went to see that and had a lot of talk about this kind of the origin of the city and its current situation. So that was really interesting. And we went to different temples. And then also this is a picture of that explaining the landscape of Chiang Mai. And also we had in the afternoon had a workshop organized by Jaiban Studio about wisdom of nature. So it was about how we can connect with nature. And we actually did that in a temple area or like behind the temple, which was in the mountains. So that was really cool. It was kind of a meditative session, but it was interesting to see most of us come from big cities, and there were a lot of mosquitoes, and it was kind of a very calm, meditative session, but everyone was really distracted by the mosquitoes. So that was interesting to see as well. And so how we as like we live in cities, we're not used to being exposed to nature, as we usually say, oh, it's nice to live in nature, we want more nature. But it was kind of triggering to think, how can we actually build this relationship with nature? So that was a really interesting experience for all of us. And at the end we made this mandala, you can see on the right side of the slide. So yeah, that was day two, a very busy day. And then day three, another packed day. It was really fun. So we had a kind of a tour, a neighborhood tour or city walk under the theme of tropical cultural landscape by Kichika. You can see him in the picture here. So he's a lecturer at Chiang Mai University and also a researcher, community researcher, geographer. Yeah, he does a lot of different things. So he took us to different neighborhoods of Chiang Mai. So this one is in the south called Urarai. and it's known for its silverware. So they have a lot of silver workshops, and also you can see the temple here made out of silver. And yeah, we also went to a community too, and yeah, different communities. Yeah, following this in different areas of the city. Here you can see a picture of the goldsmiths, and this was the last goldsmiths in Chiang Mai in this area. I think there used to be a lot, but now this whole industry or tradition is kind of dying out. So it was really interesting to see the last goldsmiths in the area. We also visited a area where they make lanterns. So that was, yeah, you can see in the right picture. Yeah, so we were able to talk to the community and the people who actually work in there making crafts. So that was really interesting too. Yeah, and then after that, we visited Shearmaker Studio, which was a architecture studio. They don't only design, but they also make things. So they are carpenters as well. So that was really inspiring to see how they design and also create things using local materials from Chiang Mai. So their approach was really grounded in this area, and yeah, they really care about the materials that they use, incorporating traditional materials or like vernacular wisdom into modern architecture. So that was really inspiring to see. And yeah, the next day, thank you. So day 4, it was kind of reaching the end of the research part, and everyone was kind of starting to prepare for the exhibition that we had on the weekend. So here we had a discussion and individual research session where we kind of reflected on what we've done so far, because the first few days was really busy going to studios and talking to people, learning a lot. So we took some time to actually reflect on what we have learned so far, and kind of had some feedback sessions individually with the participants and talked about where they wanted to take their research and the final output. So that we did that in the morning, and then in the afternoon we had an optional studio visit to Moonlow Studio. So this studio is a furniture design studio. So it was interesting to see, because we've seen a lot of architecture studios, but their approach in furniture making was really interesting to see as well. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so day 5. This day was the whole day for setting up the exhibition. So we had the venue, and yeah, we started to put things together. It was a lot because we literally only had one day to set the whole thing up. So yeah, all the participants had their own section to exhibit their work and research. So we were setting up that, also printing out materials. And yeah, so it was a busy day, a very busy day. And then at the end, we had an opening party where we invited local people. And yeah, so you can see the picture here. Also, we had a performance by a dancer called Mai. So she incorporates traditional dances from Chiang Mai with more contemporary styles of dance. So she was telling this story about Chiang Mai through her performance. So that was, sorry, really interesting to see. Yeah, thank you. Next, please. And yeah, Mariko-san, Yukako-san, would you like to talk about the exhibition days?
Sure. So for the exhibition days, I thought it was gonna be less busy compared to the previous workshop and studio visit, like previous 5 days, but the weekend was also packed with activities. So we had, for instance, participants presentation. We're gonna talk about it later, but we encouraged each participants to find their themes and have individual booth sections and exhibition venue so that they can, showcase their research and also prototypes, some photos. And so, yeah, we encouraged them to give, it was like 5 minutes per each person, right? Yeah, presentation. Um, Also comments by the lecturers and the collaborators we have met throughout the week. We also had guest presentations as well, talk events. I forgot about this, but we also had a night walk. It wasn't dark when we started the walk. We started like around 6 o'clock and it was like completely shiny outside. But it was really nice to discover the city through like a night culture perspective, which we often do actually in other cities. And also during Fall Cities Week, we also did something similar in Saigon as well. We started the walk around 8 o'clock in Saigon, so it was like, kind of different experience compared to the one in Chiang Mai. But yeah, it was really interesting. Yeah, really interesting comments by Kitika, who gave us a talk and a city tour on the day 3. And we also did workshop. Yukiko, do you want to talk about kids workshop?
Yeah, we also invited neighbors, our workshop. One is kids workshop. We invited few kids and the topic is I forgot the topic. But city tour made by kids. So they try to lead adults to their perspective to explore city like nature snack how they can play with rain or water and where is their secret space that they can feel safe or they can feel comfortable and we explore the neighborhood as well.
Thank you. Yeah, so on the final day, we did some workshops, like kids workshop, and also like the presentations, crosstalk events, and a lot of interaction, like a lot of yeah, talk with the visitors, and it was really really meaningful. Um, and yeah, I think we can change the slide to show what each participants have done and researched. But this is like a kind of the overview of the themes that they have discovered. Um, and we encouraged everyone to make kind of a report, including some like installations, and some of them actually, display some found objects, or like illustrations, or yeah, they did a lot of things on the exhibition section. So we're gonna share some of the photos, and yeah, let me find other PDF file to share. Da-da. Okay, cool. Elena, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. So, as Mariko-san said, all the participants had their own theme and exhibited their work at the exhibition. And yeah, so we had kind of a format where you have the title kind of or keyword of like their research, and also kind of a text explaining about their research and the background, and also a section explaining or like thinking about the overall theme, which was the tropical urbanisms. So we had a section where everyone wrote some text about under the question of what does tropical mean to me. So like, yeah, tropical is a very large theme, but we wanted to think about how do we like approach it in a very personal way through the experience of doing research in Chiang Mai. So yeah, everyone wrote some text related to that. And then, yeah, some additional materials like photos that relate to the research theme. And so, yeah, that was kind of the basic format. And then we saw in some of the photos, everyone had different things that they exhibited in their small booth section. But yeah, so this document that we're showing now is the PDF version of all the output or kind of report that everyone produced. So maybe you can see some of them in text. We're going to publish this very soon. So yeah, you can look through them and read through the text as well. I think it's really interesting because all the participants come from different backgrounds, not just from like architecture or urban design, but also in like from marketing, religious studies, anthropology, you name it. It's really a lot of different disciplines. So that was really interesting to see the different approach, even though we went to almost the same places under the same theme. We heard similar talks, but it was really interesting to see different approaches and outputs here. So yeah, please, once it's published, please have a read through. It's really interesting. Okay, maybe we have a few participants that are here, so maybe we can ask them to share their research in more details. Nico and Stephanie, maybe?
While we do that, I'm gonna also like just share some photos.
Great, yeah. Would you like to start, Nico?
Sure.
Thanks.
But I don't have like a slide prepared, so
No, you
that's
don't have to. It's okay. Just like a really casual comment, it'd be fine.
just okay. Could you point to the PDF to my my part on the PDF so I can have like a sort of image to go through with what I'm speaking about.
Let me find it
Uh,
again. And also, maybe Narumi-san, can you share? My computer is a little too slow. Thank you.
okay. So my theme was on impromptu interventions. I was like thinking about how people do some sort of reflexive thinking on how to improve or how to shape their cities. So with people from the tropical region, we have very unpredictable weather. And so it kind of also influences the way we react or the way it shapes our design thinking process. So it was I'd say I went around the city to see examples of this creativity um forwarded by people who have no prior background in architecture or have no formal training in architecture. So this is kind of like what interests me about design because everyone I don't know if it sounds cliche, but everyone has this ability to design. It's just that in my case, I want to see the perspective of someone who doesn't have formal training. So like for example, here at the Silver Workshop, they use like they repurpose their doors as like shelvings or like sunshade as well. So that was a very, how to say, it's a very, how to say, very smart way of like reusing available um materials. Can we see the rest of the picture? Okay. A little more. So a big theme that was explored in the workshop was about how nature um, shapes the city, especially in the city of Chiang Mai, which has a deep connection with nature. And actually, we were very fortunate to like the timing was perfect because there was an ongoing festival about like the how the city was founded, and this festival is like deeply rooted to connection the city's connection to nature. So this is like a view from the forest temple that we visited on I think day two or day two I guess. So it shows like the connection between the mountain and the city. And going through the city, you see like very creative ways of like putting shelter against sunlight. In tropical cities, are very much sensitive to the strong. I think people along the equator have stronger sunlight. So sun shading is very important to us as well as like protection from the rain. So it's very cool to see different strategies reflected in the people to protect against sun and rain. We have the same in the Philippines, but this is unique, I think, to Chiang Mai because we don't have like movable stuff. We mostly it's almost like a permanent installation. So in their case, they're more agile for like folding things and kind of keeping it away when sun or the rain is already stopped. And also like in their vehicles, so protecting their passengers from the rain as well. And I also noticed like different things along the Meikau Canal. I learned about this canal restoration project from Jaiban Studio. So it was interesting also that aside from architectural projects, they do also have like urban scale projects like this one, which I think a very long stretch of the canal, they help people to improve the situation. I think I saw the original bridge that kind of like is on the lower right. You see like the bridge that kind of that got the project rolling. So that was inspiring to me that one small step could easily snowball into like improving the whole stretch of the canal. And we also see like the stall vendors doing their own thing, protecting against the rain. For example, choosing like a transparent material, so you're still protected from the rain, but also like still providing customers with visibility. So that was interesting to me. So the whole theme of my research was about how people, in their own way, could practice or like do design, especially like in the context of a tropical city where things are very unpredictable and things change from day to day, or hour to hour even. So I think that's about the gist of my research for this workshop.
Thank you. Stephanie, I'm not sure if we can talk, but if you want to share what you have, you know, learned from the week, your experience or your specific research, be nice if you can share.
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. So yeah, my research during the for today's week was very much inspired by my first experience in Chiang Mai as a tourist. But this time I like to yeah, but this time around I used the time and Chiang Mai to explore a little bit more about the cafe culture in the city by centering my research the uh on two popular drinks on the cafe menu, A, coffee, and B, chocolate. So during the week I think one key part of the research was really to have a chat with one of the locally grown chocolate house, the owner of the chocolate house, um, to understand the ecosystem of chocolate production in Thailand, given the pretty short history of the whole chocolate plantation in the region. And I think the key reflection for me throughout this week is to explore the connection between like what does it really mean by being local, or uh how can how can locals develop their own voice in regards to something that seems to be originally foreign, but ultimately develop their own flair or develop their own ways of telling their own stories. And yeah, so I think that's the key message that I had from the experience, and also outside of the of this output, I think the experience is a reflective experience for me to reflect how my day-to-day living experience in another city that is also situated within the tropical region. And I think that's yeah, the key takeaway that I would like to highlight from this experience.
Thank you. Do we have any other participants?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. So maybe we can just move on to Q&A.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna also keep sharing some photos because they're nice.
We have a lot of really nice photos.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have any questions, comments? If you can't speak, you can also just like type on the comment section as well. Yeah. Just looking back, it was such an amazing week.
It was, yeah. I don't know, it's just like months ago, a bit more than a month ago, but I don't know, it feels like a dream or something. It was like, for me, it's like, yeah, it was really interesting and very, yeah, as you saw in the schedule, very busy, but very inspiring. And yeah, every moment was really inspiring and I learned a lot from, not just from the studio visits, but also from like conversations with the participants, because as I said, everyone's from a different background. It was really interesting to talk. Yeah, it was I feel like it was a really nice atmosphere with like everyone spending the whole week together and very intense, but just sharing moments together and then kind of creating an exhibition at the end, kind of physically like moving our hands and creating stuff and then showing that in this kind of really nice space that you saw the picture of, like in Calm Village, and like seeing people just walking in and like having conversations. I think it was a really, really, really nice yeah, moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
no
Nico and
accident,
Stefan. Yeah.
no
Sorry.
like no sickness, no drama. The city is really calm and also really safe as well. So it was a perfect environment for us to do this activity without like any stress. So yeah, thank you, Chiang Mai, for that too.
Yeah,
Really, I
because
cut you off, Melina.
no, sorry. I think yeah, Chiang Mai, as Mariko-san said, it's like very calm. And has this kind of is an old city, has a lot of history. But like after the Four Cities Week, we went to Bangkok. And Bangkok is totally different. And like imagine doing Four Cities Week in Bangkok, it's gonna be so chaotic. I don't think it's possible. I mean, it has its charm and oh, it's very interesting, but it's just very different. And you can see the people are very different as well. Like Chiang Mai has this kind of calm, relaxed vibe. But Bangkok, yeah, it's a really big city. Everyone's rushing and busy. So it was kind of personally interesting to see these two kind of very different cities as well. Yeah.
And yeah, we would love to keep doing this every year. We haven't decided what city we are going to next year's, but we are, for instance, talking about Pakistan or India would be nice. Obviously, China would be amazing destination for us too. There are many cities, not only in Asia, everywhere in the world that we are just not familiar with. We are familiar with like there are large body of research based in like Western cities, big cities like Paris or London or Amsterdam or like New York, but not much research have been done in Saigon or Chiang Mai, for instance. Tokyo, I think it's a little bit of exception, but yeah, we just love to continue discovering new cities and also documenting what is happening in these cities now because many cities like that are facing massive changes right now. There was one participant from Pakistan, Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan, and she was telling us that, the city is rapidly changing. The buildings are built, and, the roads and high rises are constructed, and people are kind of pushed out from the city centers. Things are getting more expensive, things like that, more cars coming in, and local culture is kind of like, slowly disappearing too. Um, so yeah, it's really important also for us, international researchers, to go there, understand their culture, and also connect with the local actors as well. So this is, yeah, we would love to keep doing it. And if you guys are interested in hosting for Cities Week in your city, or participating, obviously, you guys are always welcome. We usually organize for Cities Week around like May, June, around that time, but we are also really flexible. So yeah.
I think we have a couple of questions in the chat. The first one is about walkability of Chiang Mai. And I think Chiang Mai, the old city where you saw the picture, so there's a moat around it, so it's the square city. That's quite small. You can walk across there. That was really walkable, I would say. It was quite quiet. Not, I mean, there are cars, but it's not extremely busy, and the streets are narrower. They're called yeah, so it was really walkable, I think. People they use cars or like motorbikes as well, but once you go outside of the old city, you have bigger roads. So that area was, yeah, it's you can walk, but at the same time, it felt quite intimidating. I feel like the roads are really wide, a lot of cars going. So yeah, I think yeah, the old city was much walkable, I would say. And in terms of improving walkability in tropical cities, I think when you talk about walkability in tropical cities, the climate is one thing that we have to consider, I think, because it does rain a lot. Like when we were there, it rained a lot as well, like it's kind of short periods of rain. So if you're walking and you just kind of get wet, but I feel like it's kind of nice that if it does rain, you can go into a shop or you can go into a shade where you can avoid rain. So I think that was kind of interesting, a rhythm that's very particular to this Chiang Mai, which is a tropical city. So you'd see like people walking or just like when it rains, just resting inside. So I think that's one. I mean, you can't really change that. So like how people like deal with that situation was something that I learned, and we can't design a road with like a roof everywhere. So it's kind of nice to see that. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Mariko-san and Yukako-san, or like Nico or anyone else who's been there?
I think I was surprised that when we passed by in front of elementary school, there are huge line, the car line. That was they tried to pick kids from school by car.
Oh,
Comparing Japan, every kids uh go back to their home by
yeah.
work, but we are surprised. A lot of kids in Chiang Mai use car as a way to home and way to school. It's kind of big difference between Japan, and I wonder why. I think it's kind of climate also and safetiness. I don't know, but it's kind of affect to walkability as well.
Really true, yeah. I just loved walking in the historical core of the city, as Elena said, inside of this like a historical square. It's more walkable. There are not many cars, and the city was built not for cars, obviously. It was built a long time ago, before the cars arrived. So like the many streets are very narrow, many like trees. And flowers, and it's just like visibly really enjoyable to walk. And because of the shades, it was possible to walk as well. Obviously depends on what time of the day, but it felt really nice. And it kind of reminds me of my experience in Kyoto. I live in Kyoto, Japan, and a lot of people from like Singapore or Taiwan or Thailand or Vietnam, more like tropical part of the world, who live in Kyoto, they tell me, they all tell me it somehow feels hotter in Kyoto in summer compared to their countries, their home countries. And it's like, why is that? Like the temperature wise, it's like much higher there. But they told me like, all the cities are built for the cars and like there's no shade and like it feels like the sun feels like harsher. And yeah, it to me it was really interesting. It's the walkability is also about like how we feel the emotions and affect by the environments, not only about the infrastructures and the temperatures and all the scientific facts. So yeah, it was really interesting comparison as well. Okay, shall we move on to the second question, which is more challenging to answer, I think. So I'm gonna just, yeah, read. I'm interested in how what people learn from this week keep going on with their takeaways and research from the Full Cities Week in Chiang Mai, and also how each person output and work connect to others in the exhibition and the theme. Um, Nico, do you want to answer?
Well, I mean, in terms of what the research I did during the workshop, I think it's more of like observing how common people design. So as an architect, I think that there's a theory by a psychologist in the 70s. He's called Gibson. It's called affordance theory. So it how to say it kind of like touches on it's more of it originated from psychology, but it also applies in architecture. And I think how to say when you give a space to a user or like a common person, not an architect, it's interesting how they perceive the space or how they see the possibilities of the space. So affordance theory kind of like democratizes design in a way. So I think what I learned from the workshop is like pay more attention to how people react or like how people use the space. So it could inform you as an architect on how to anticipate the way of thinking of a people. So of course, like in every city or every culture has their own way of dealing with design challenges. But I think as coming from a tropical country, I see like also similarities in how we kind of cope with the environment with our own respective environments. So I think that was my key takeaway that you could also learn from people not from an architecture background. It actually enriches your practice as well.
Thank you. And I think in terms of how each person's output connect to others or affect the others, I remember one of the participants said multiple eyes when it comes to like, observing the cities. And it was kind of like, I would say, I would say competitive, but like each participants are kind of curious about what others are working on, what, others is thinking in the life and they're, finding their themes and, making their output. So I think it was a really nice atmosphere, kind of like pushing each other to do more or like to find your unique perspective as well. And that the theme of tropical urbanisms, obviously it's a really big theme, but within that theme, some people talk about like, for instance, mosquitoes, or some others
Mm.
talk about um, underwear, like living in tropical regions, or some people are more focused on materials, physical materials, things like that, or like spirituality. There's so many themes, different varieties of topics, and like layers of thinking about the themes. That it's all connected to the overarching theme of tropical urbanisms. I think it was yeah, this is not something that like if it was like individual project, you just go to Chiang alone, you just come up with the same ideas and same output. I think it was nice. It was in the same, like, it was in the kind of small number of people, like, 13, 15. It was like nice to, it was a nice number to like know everybody, within a week, and then kind of get competitive in a way, learning from each other, inspired by each other. Yeah. So I think I'm not sure if I answered that question, but yeah, it was really fun dynamics in that way too. Okay, I think it's 8 o'clock now. If you guys don't have any more questions, then or Yukiko, Alina, do you wanna, or like Narumi-san, any concluding remarks? Things that
No,
you
it's
wanted to
okay.
say?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay. Okay. So, okay. Thank you so much for coming to this presentation. And hope to see you next year or a year after somewhere in the world. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank you,
much.
Stephanie, for sharing your thoughts too.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.